Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're in Revelation 13. We've been studying the beast out of the sea for the last few days. The beast out of the sea, of course, is the Antichrist. Now, he's not called the Antichrist here, but he definitely is, because he is the embodiment of Satan himself, and he counterfeits the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, we meet the third person of the Satanic trinity, and that is the false prophet. Now, he's not called the false prophet in this passage, but he's called the false prophet in chapter 16, verse 13, chapter 19, verse 20, and chapter 20, verse 10. And he is called here the beast out of the earth. So let's read, beginning in verse 11, as we meet the third person of the Satanic trinity. Of course, the first is Satan, second is the Antichrist, and now you have the false prophet. And then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. Now, maybe this is the most interesting passage and maybe most talked about passage in all of the book of Revelation, and especially this number 666, and we'll get to that later. But here first we want to mention again, here we have the new person that is introduced for the first time, and he's called a beast. Now later he's called the false prophet, same person, just different names that he's called by. He's called a beast because he comes up out of the earth, and out of the earth he's basically a human being with human figure, but again he is empowered by Satan. He's Satan's prophet. Now remember, it's very interesting. You go back to chapter 11, God had his two witnesses, his two prophets. We don't know who they were by name, but they were the prophets, they were the witnesses. They prophesied, that's why they're called prophets. They did some miracles. They were able to have fire come out of their mouth and kill anyone who tried to harm them. And now we have Satan saying, oops, I got to counterfeit this too. So right here in the middle of the tribulation, the two witnesses are overcome by the beast. We've been talking about that, Antichrist. And then all of a sudden, out of the earth comes this false prophet. So he produces as counterfeit his false prophet, and that is this individual here who shows up. And he is a smooth talking individual. The image of the horns in verse 11 here suggests that this false prophet has authority, but the absence of a crown indicates that his authority is not political. Now, Jesus had warned back in Matthew 24, verses 11 and 24, that there would be false prophets, but this will be the greatest of them all. Here, he'll have the character of a lamb, meek and lowly and kind and gracious, and people will love him. Matter of fact, this dude will be like the greatest evangelist the world has ever known. Now remember, the world is full of sin and debauchery and wickedness. The demons are loose. Antichrist is ruling already, and this guy shows up, but he has the voice of a dragon. He will be a deceiver. It says he deceives the world, and the world will listen to him. And so it's a terrible time, and we're meeting the third person of the Trinity, the Satanic, unholy Trinity, and that's the false prophet. Well, God bless. We'll study more of this tomorrow, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.